Hi everyone, my name is Moses and welcome to my new YouTube channel, Website Vanilla. This is my very first video and today I'm going to teach you how to center a div in CSS using 5 different ways. So join me. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to pull up my code editor, my IDE. WebStorm is my top favorite editor. It's going to open up. We're going to open a new project. This I just want to be empty project. I want to name it video number 1. All right, create. All right. All right, so there's my code editor. Now I'm going to open a new HTML file. I'm going to call this index.html. And then how to center a div. All right, so alright, so I'm gonna put my this as section 1. Alright, section 1, and then this is method 1 of how to center a div. So let's say we have our first section here called I'm just gonna name it as section 1. Alright, so let's say we have a huge paragraph here. Let's say go to view, okay. So let's say I have that paragraph and I'm actually going to add some more words. Let's say I have this paragraph and I want to center this paragraph. So let's open now and see how this looks in our web browser. Let me use Chrome. All right, okay, this one, cancel this. I'm gonna put this at the side here and I'm gonna move this on the left. All right, so right now you see I just have a huge paragraph extending throughout the screen. So how do you center this? So let me first put a style sheet. So I'm just gonna go to my folder here and new style sheet. I'm gonna call it style. And as you can see, my code editor allows me to just name it style and automatically it's gonna add the extension. So I don't have to add .css there. So I'm just gonna select that, style.css. All right. So I have my HTML and my CSS file. So this is section number 1. So first let me, as you can see, our browser normally come with browser defaults. Let me get rid of the padding and margins that come with the browser there. So I'm just going to target every element. I'm going to say margin 0, padding 0. And that's going to remove my padding and margins that come with the browser defaults. But before that, I have to include this. Let me include that style sheet. I believe it's link, tab, and then I'm just going to select style.css. If now I come here, just refresh, you can see my padding and margin, they're gone. One last thing before I begin, I want to also add box sizing, border box. All right, so these are get rid of my browser defaults. Box sizing, border box, this property just allows the calculation of width and height of elements to be exact what you need them to be without including border. All right. So let's come back here. This is my section 1. I want to put section 1 I want to put color behind this. So let me first say I want to put the background color of that to be red. So okay, now I want to cover the whole of this viewport, not only the paragraph. So how do I do that? I'm just gonna say, okay, I want the height of all this section to be 100 viewport height. So if I come here fresh, all right, all of this now it's as you can see, it covers the whole viewport. All right, so now how do I center my paragraph? Now let me change the color of my paragraph also to be white so that you can see it clearly. So this is P. I'm just gonna say the class is paragraph or just para. Okay. I want the color of this to be white. All right. So that, okay, now we can see it a bit more clearly. So how do I center that? So first thing first, if I want to center something, it means it has to be kind of a bit narrower compared to the width of that browser window. So right now, if I just extend, you can see this is covering the whole section. So let's say I want my width to be, let's say 4080 pixel. So right now it's shorter. All right. So how do I center this? So method number one, which is very commonly used in most, you can see in most of CSS tutorials, is by absolute positioning this. We're going to absolute position this at the center. So how do we do that? Before doing that, first we have to, we're gonna say position this element absolutely, and then we want, I would say maybe the top of this to be 50%, and the left to be 50%. So let's see what you'll see there. Right now, if I just come and refresh, you'll see it's 50% from the top and 50% from the left. And you might ask yourself, now we have this position as absolute. How about normally when you position an element as in absolute position, you want a parent element to be positioned as relative. And if you don't specify that, normally it will just take that from the body element. By default, it will just position from, it will make this as a relative one. Now we want this parent element, an immediate parent, to be relatively positioned. So I'm just going to say here, position relative. It's not going to change anything, but this is just to say I want to absolute position this in regard to its parent element. All right, so now we can see it's not a real absolute position. Now how do I make it appear at the very center? So I just have to add one more property. It's called transform property. I'm going to transform this and then transition, and then I'm going to say minus 50%, minus 50%. All right, that is a typo, I believe. Transform, translate, not transition. Transform, translate. All right. Now if I come here, you will see now my paragraph has been absolute position at the center, as you can see there. All right. Now that is method number one, by using these properties here. Position absolute, top 50, left 50, and then you're going to translate it negative 50 and negative 50. If you don't translate it, it will just be like you can see. If I can just hide this, see it is top 50 and then left 50%. Now we want to say, okay, now translate this element to be 50% up and also 50% left. That is what this does. All right. All right, that is method number one. So let's go to method number two. How do you center a div? So I'm going to put this as section 2. So section dot section 2. If you're asking yourself that what I just typed there, that's called emit, you can just type this. If I just type section dot section 3, it auto completes using a plugin called Emit, and normally in some code editors it comes pre-built, but if it does not come, you have to install it yourself. And if I just hit tab, it auto completes all the section. All right, so I'm just gonna copy my comment here, so section 2. All right, so this is method 2 now. All right, now also I'm gonna make it as a paragraph. So all right, I'll just say p.okay, this is now paragraph 2. All right, I'm just typing that text. All right, now this is my section 2. I'm going to show you a second way now. So all right, that was our method 1. I'm just going to put a comment here. All right, this is method 1. I'm going to center a div. All right, I'm also going to add method 2. All right, cool. So right now my section 1 is done. So how do we center this? Now let's come here, refresh. So this is my section 2. Now we want this section also to be just like section number 1, to cover the whole viewport. How do we do that? I'm just gonna say dot section 2. I want the height of this to be 100 view height. You can see now it covers the whole area. What else do I want? Maybe I want to change the color too. Let's say to green. Yes, I'm gonna say green. All right, now that's green. All right, now my paragraph 2. All right, now here's the question: how do I center this now? How do I center this? Now you can see it takes the whole space. So the first thing, before, if you want to center any div, you have to put its width, because I can't center if it's covering the whole area. I cannot center it. So okay, let's put the width of this. Let's say the width of this is 56 pixel. All right, 56. All right, I'm also going to change the color of this. I'm just going to be white so that it's you can see it clearly against the background. All right, cool. So how do we center this? Again, we're going to use a method 2. Now method 2 of centering a div, we're going to use what is called a flexbox. So what you're going to do is make this container element. So you see, this is our child, and then this is our parent. So we want to make this parent element, which is a container, we're going to display it as a flex. All right, so I'm just going to say display flex. Right now it won't do anything. As you can see, it has not done anything. And then I'm going to say I want to justify content. That means I'm going to position the children of this container horizontally. I want to position them at the center. So justify content center. If I see now, you'll see it has been centered horizontally, but not vertically. All right, how do you position it vertically? You can just add this another property called align items. So I'm going to say align items center. All right, now if I come here, you'll see this has been centered. So that was our method 2, how to center a div by using what? By using flexbox. I'll just type there flexbox. And this method number 1 was how to center a div using absolute positioning. Positioning. All right. Method number 3. I said I'm going to teach you 5 different ways. All right. Method number 3. So let's make another container here. I'm going to just call this is section. Okay. Section 3. Section 3. All right. Also, I'm going to put a paragraph here. Okay. I'm also going to put, this is also an emit functionality. If I just type lolem and hit tab, it's going to produce some what's called blind text. All right. I can even add some more text. Cool. So section 3. All right. These are section 3. So as you can see, when you add a section and some text, they just occupy the whole space, as you can see, and it's only, the section is only covering the content of its children elements, not more. So, all right, first thing first. Now, what this editor also allows me to do is to split screen. I can just say split and move right. So now I can have both my HTML and CSS. I love this editor. All right, can scroll down. This is my method 3. Why does it this coming up? All right. Method 3, CENTER A DIV. All right, cool. So now I'm going to put my section 3. This section 3, let's make it a different color. So I'm going to make it blue now. I'm just following RGB. All right, background, now it's blue. You can see now it's blue, right? And then I'm going to say cover the whole viewport height. All right, I'm going to say height 100 VH. If you come here now, you can see it's covering the whole area, right? The whole viewport height. So that's our section 3. Now, how do we center this? How do we center this in the middle here? All right, so we're gonna go to first, let's change the paragraph. So this paragraph 3, let's change the color of this to white so that you can see it clearly against the background. Okay, now we can see it extend through from the left to the right. Okay, to center it, obviously it has to be shorter than the width of the container. All right, so let's say the width of this paragraph, let's say it's now is 640 pixels. All right, cool. So now you see it's shorter, so there is space to center it. So how can you center it horizontally and vertically? All right, so let's go back here. Now we're going to use a third method. This is called grid. We're going to use a grid system to center this. So on the parent container, this section 3 is our parent, and then this paragraph is the children of this container. So we're going to say, okay, we want to display this container as grid. Okay, once you do that, nothing happens, as you can see. All right, what we're going to do second is we want to say justify content center, and let's see it again. You see it's right at the center. Justify content is always when you want to center it horizontally, so just remember justify content is horizontal by default. All right, another property is align items, and then we say center to. Okay, now if you come here, now you see section 3, it has been centered. You see, center left and right. All right, so that was our method. So the only difference between method 3 and 2 was this one used a flexbox, and then this one used what? This one used grid. So the only thing is this display flex, and here's display grid. All right, so that was the third method of how to center a div. And actually there's something going on here. If you have noticed that this one is kind of shorter, the port height of red, then green, then for some reason this extend. Let's see if we can troubleshoot what's going on there. Section 3. Oh, it's because we have two section 3. Okay, not a problem. I'm gonna just delete this. All right, now if I come here, all right, cool. So 1, 2, 3, perfect. All right, so two more ways. We are not done yet. I'm gonna show you the fourth way of how you can center a div. All right, so please follow along. So this is gonna be my, you can just copy this comment and paste it here and say this is my section 4. All right, section, it doesn't have to be a section, it can be a div, but I just like using sections. Dot section number 4. All right, paragraph, this is paragraph number 4. All right, I'm just gonna say enter some blind text here. All right, if I come now to my browser, I should see that. All right, this is the new added element. You see, it does not have any height. It does not have any height yet, like the rest of this. So first, let's do that. All right, so I'm gonna copy this comment and paste it here. Say this is method number 4, center a div. All right, cool. Dot section 4. Okay, what the background of this? I'm gonna say the background of this, I'm gonna say this should be Rebecca purple. Yeah, that's the name of the color. Okay, you can see the purple. I'm gonna also say, I'm gonna go to the paragraph. Dot para number 4. I want my paragraph to be visible against the background, so say color. My color should be white. All right. All right. You see now it extends through left to right. Okay, let's set the height of this. Height 100, view height. All right, now it covers the whole area. Nice. Okay, how do you center this? Cool. Let's say first, let's make our paragraph shorter so that it can be centered. All right. So let's say the width of this paragraph, the width should be 400 pixels. You see now it's only 400 pixels. All right, so how do we center this now? All right, now we're also going to use a grid, just like we use in method 3. So how we do this? We're just going to say display grid. If you come here, nothing has been done yet, and then we're going to add just one more property to center it horizontally and vertically. We're going to say place items, and then we're going to say center. Now if you come here, you should see now it has been centered. You see, that was pretty easy. All right, that is method number 4. So you can pick any one that you think you understand better or that you just prefer, but they all do the same thing. All right, now last but not least, I'm gonna put okay, this is my section 5, right? Section 5. All right. All right, what's happening here? Control Z, 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 Z. All right, section 5. All right, I'm gonna say section dot section 5. All right, section number 5. How do we center a div? So right now I'm not gonna show you a paragraph, but I'm going to show you an image, how you can center that image inside its container. So I don't have an image right now, so let me show you a good site you can go and download some quality images. It's called unsplash.com. So this is one of my favorite sites to go to download free images. There are this one, and another one I really like is called pixels.com. So these sites are very similar in terms of functionality, so you can go to any of these sites and download any free image you want. They are high resolution images. So let me use pixels, for example, and I'm gonna search for an image of let's say a rabbit. All right, okay, and then I'm gonna say you can filter. I can say I only want horizontal images. Cool. And then let me pick a random photo here. Let's say I'm gonna pick this guy over here. You can download, free download. So I'm just gonna pick a medium-sized image. Download. All right, I've downloaded it. Now after downloading it, you want to copy it to the, I'm just gonna rename this and say rabbit, and make sure it is on your website folder. So I'm just gonna drag it and move it to my website folder. Now, factor. All right, so WebStorm allows me to just drag from my Finder here window, drag it straight to the website folder. All right, I'll close that. So this is my rabbit. I can even double click and see it. See, that's my beautiful rabbit. Now, how can we center this guy? All right, so first let's put it on our markup. So right now nothing is on section 5. Let me put an image there and say rabbit.jpg. Okay, this is our rabbit. So if we go here to our window, you will see a rabbit. You see, it covered the whole screen. So it's way too big. So all right. So first let's put a height on our container again, section 5. So let's say the height of this again is 100 view height. If you come here, you should see it's 100 view. I'm not gonna change the color this time, I'm just gonna leave the way it is. And then let's change our image dimensions, because right now it's covering the whole screen. As you can see from, it's covering the whole, actually not the whole screen, but it's kinda way too big, I mean. So let's decrease the size of this image, and let's say this image, let's say 40% of its container. So let's say here. All right, now is nice. I can actually put maybe 50%. Cool. So how do we center this image now? Horizontally. Now I've shown you ways to center stuff horizontally and vertically. So this is another way to center items, but you only center them horizontally. It's a very common way to center stuff horizontally. That's why I'm going to include it here. So how do you do that? You just say, I want my margin. So first you have to know images are regarded as inline elements. They're not block elements. So normally they don't come with margin and with margins. So to make them comes with margins, we're gonna change this image to display as a block. So display as block is not gonna change anything. It's gonna be pretty much the same. But then once we change as display block, we can set the margin now. Before that we can say set our margin top and bottom to just be 0 and left and right to be auto. So auto to means it will auto calculate the margin of left and right to be the same. And if you come here, see, now has been centered. It has not been centered vertically, but it has been centered horizontally. All right, that was our method 5 of centering div, and this is by just using margin, auto. All right, so that concludes the end of our video. I've shown you 5 different ways on how you can center a div. Please let me know the kind of videos you would like to learn in this channel. But my channel is called Website Vanilla, and basically just gonna be celebrating the use of vanilla technologies without using any frameworks. So I'm gonna be touching HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, and also MySQL and SQL. So your basic vanilla web technologies. All right, thank you, and I'd love to read your comments. Thanks.